let's talk about
Fitz.
one of the big time players for the world champion New York Football Giants.
Our lead quarterback.
Our elite quarterback, our two-time Super Bowl MVP quarterback, Eli Manning.
Eli Manning.
Eli Manning. I mean, he really had a breakout year this year.
Yeah.
Big time breakout year.
I'm really going to enjoy this topic.
I know you will.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've written about this over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, and he's been my guy, too.
And you've been,
I've always supported Eli a little bit more than the average
for
Giants
those
fan.
ridiculous interceptions,
Yeah.
you've given a little more support than
Yeah.
people like I have. Let's just cover real quick his season this year, nearly 5,000 yards.
Nearly 5,000 yards,
Kept the interceptions down. I think he
Yeah.
had, I want to say 12 or so.
23 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions.
I want to say that's about right. Interceptions way down from, I think it was 20 or 21 last year.
90 plus quarterback rating.
Yep, 90.5 quarterback rating. So phenomenal year. Goes to the playoffs and just Mr. Consistency. Just confident, bring him down the field. Ratings were up there. Turnovers were pretty much non-existent. I think he had one interception in the playoffs, I want to say.
And how about that game against the Niners where he threw 50 times against the best defense in the league?
Yeah.
No interceptions.
Right, no interceptions and a wet field.
Wet ball, exactly.
Balls flying all over the place, and Eli keeps it out of their hands. So, topic one. Let's do that legacy.
Yes.
I mentioned two-time Super Bowl MVP.
Yep.
You know? Can you say this is a path to Canton now? Can you
Yes.
say, or you're saying,
Yes.
so no question.
Yes. He's going to play another 7 to 8 years.
Okay.
We're
He
hoping
will.
with good health.
Mhm.
You know, he's still 6'4", 220. He's not a little guy,
Right?
right? He's not Doug Flutie running around out there.
No.
So he's probably going to play another 7 or 8 years. He's going to tack on 30, 35, 40,000 more yards. He's going to have at least 2 Super Bowl rings, at least two Super Bowl MVPs. I think he's in.
All right, I'm going to say he's a very good shot, but he needs to show me a little bit more. And he doesn't need to show me a little bit more. I shouldn't say that. I mean, as a Giants fan, he's in. I want his number retired tomorrow. Nobody's wearing that number 10
What
yet.
if everything I just said is true? He's already got 2 rings, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, going to play for another 8 years, drops another 35, 40,000 yards.
Well, I think he needs that to win over the Hall of Fame selection committee.
So
That's where I'm
longevity.
going from this.
Longevity.
He needs the longevity. He needs to show that he's not going to go back next year, throw for, I mean, he's not going to throw for 3,500 yards. Those days in the NFL are behind you where 3,500 yards is a good season. He's going to throw for, if he throws for 4,000 yards next season, 18 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions, that's going to be viewed as a failure. I mean, for the Giants, unless they go to the Super Bowl again. So he needs to remain at a high level, at a over 4,000 yards, at a nearly 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, which he should be able to get with the great skill players that the Giants have right now.
Yeah.
I think that's going to win him over, as long as the Giants are competitive, which they will be. There'll always be at least an 8 to 10 win team, if not more. Obviously, he'll have his playoff appearances if he can move.
If not a 16-win team.
If not a 16-win team, I'm just saying. There's certain teams like the Jets where, hey, for them to get to 8 wins is a big deal.
The Jets.
For the Giants, you assume 8 wins a season regardless.
Yeah.
I think he needs to show people more to get into the Hall of Fame. Does he deserve to be a Hall of Famer? Yes, done. But I think he needs to show other people in order to get the election. That's a different story.
With it, show some longevity combined with high quality. Maybe not having to be, Joe Montana numbers,
Right.
but very good quarterback for a long period of time.
Correct, because he's right now with what he's earned for the Giants, he is the Giants' starting quarterback for as long as he wants to. He's earned that position, kind of the way Tom Brady has up in New England. So he will be there for the next 6, 7, 8 years, regardless, barring a catastrophic injury, obviously. But he can't just go out there and throw for 3,000 yards and.
He can't be Mark Sanchez going forward.
Exactly.
He can't.
No, he can't. He could do more damage
But
to
he
himself.
won't. But we won't. That was what was always one of my arguments about Eli, was when not everyone, but when a lot of Giants fans were down on Eli. My point was, we have, at worst, a league average quarterback, and even getting a league average quarterback, ask half the teams out there,
tough to
is
do.
a battle. So Eli, he knows the offense. Basically, right now, it's whether or not the receivers are going to run the right routes.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of the pass rush. So for me, to your point, I'm with you as far as he has to not be Mark Sanchez. But for me, he almost can't be Mark Sanchez going forward because he has the tools in place. He knows the offense better than anyone. And he's not a little guy.
That's a good point.
He's not one of those tiny little.
With NFL quarterbacks, that doesn't happen. You know, you don't go from being a superstar to falling apart into nothing. I guess a good example would be Phillip Rivers, who maybe you could say that had a couple great seasons in San Diego.
Yeah.
And even his now last year, he had just a very mediocre season, but his mediocre season was still a 3,500, 4,000 yard passing season with, 25 touchdowns. So I agree that, Eli on his worst day is still gonna put up those good numbers. If he does it for another, 6, 7 years, he's in Hall of Famer, he deserves it.
Let's finish up this post with that, and then we'll touch on that clown Kurt Warner. Then we start going over there.
Yeah.
That was like 6 minutes as is.
That was a good discussion. A little shy, a little 5 and